This episode of the Buffalonian Podcast is brought to you by the CastSource Podcast Network, a podcast network built with and for entrepreneurs. Cover many genres, including sports, business, mental health, marketing, and entertainment. Feature the podcast shows such as Sports Bring People Together, Limitless, Saviors of the Metaverse, and The Athletic Mindset. Learn more at castsource.com/podcast. And without further ado, let's get into the Buffalonian Podcast. The Buffalo Bills play their fourth game in 19 days this Thursday night. We'll look at some X factors, keys to success, and go over our picks from last week and pick some more games from this week. This is the Buffalonian Podcast, betting on the Bills. All right, let's go. We are back with the Buffalonian Podcast. I'm Joe Callie, and as always, I'm joined by Dom Loss and Mike Marino, and this is Betting on the Bills. Fellas, Week 13, the Bills won on Thanksgiving. We're coming back. We're going to New England. How are we feeling?
I mean, decent, maybe. Got some more injuries. It just seems like it's not stopping this year.
Yeah.
Now that Miller's hurt, that's great.
And Dion.
And Snowman, starting left tackle. The Lions game, I can't say went according to plan, but we won. So,
hey, ugly games, ugly wins a win. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's how we got to look at it. Dom, what do you think, buddy?
I mean, I think if anyone said that the Bills would be 8-3 through 11 games, I think everyone would have taken that in a heartbeat. I don't know if it went to plan after them going 6-1 at one point, going 5-1 to the bye, but here we are, and another primetime game for the Bills.
Yeah, in Foxborough.
First time on Amazon.
First time on Amazon might be Ryan Fitzpatrick calling. He'll be in the pregame and the postgame, so it'll be interesting. On Amazon, you're right. I didn't even think about that. It is our first time on the prime on prime time. That's crazy. But the Bills are 3.5-point favorites.
Don't ever do that again.
What, the pun? No, you're not feeling it?
4.
All right, I'll hold myself back. The Bills are 3.5-point favorites. We're 5.5 when we first made this outline. We go by here. Dropped a little bit. Why do you think that might be? Just the injury bug?
Yeah, I think them now ruling out Vaughn, which is kind of expected, but Dion being officially inactive causes some pretty big concerns for the Bills against Matt Judon, who's the current sack leader in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, and usually the Snowman's a good, played pretty well against Judon. He's been pretty quiet against the Bills most of the time, even when he was a Raven back in the playoff game in 2020. So, when you don't have your, the antidote to the big threat, it's kind of a situation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And like you said, Dion being out, Spencer Brown on the right side. We've mentioned lackluster this whole season, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But also another big thing for the Bills is it's their fourth game in 19 days. That's kind of crazy. I mean, considering all the snowstorm stuff, Thanksgiving, like I don't know, like it's crazy. I wouldn't have expected this is how the season goes at all going into it, but 4 games in 19 days, that's kind of crazy.
Well, I think it's crazy to think that they knew this going in, that this is going to be kind of that stretch. It's not like any of the games got, the times of the games changed. I mean, obviously a location of a game changed, but at the end of the day, the Bills, are 2-1 this tough stretch, and they have an opportunity to get a big divisional win and get a nice little mini bye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm glad they had the whole week of practice here, the Thursday to Thursday, so I mean that I guess that's one good thing. And it looks to be looking up right now with the injuries and the players coming back to assist where these injuries are. So, I mean, we'll look at the injury report in a little bit here, but it's definitely, I'm a lot better feeling about it now than I was when these injuries first occurred, especially Von Miller. We were down Epinesa and Russo. I know it's spoiling a little bit, but they're likely to, they're coming back. So that's a huge thing. But I don't know. It's going into this game. The last time we played them, we won 47-17. We were all watching it together. We were screaming motor in. Devin Singletary was having a day. Josh Allen was throwing bombs. Do you think Belichick's mad? Mac Jones is upset? Like they're coming back for blood for this, or is this going to be another Bills blowout? Like what are you feeling like going into this game?
No, they're not. They're not going to be mad that they lost by 30 points in a playoff game.
Right. Yeah, Mike, what do you think?
I'm just gonna say I think the way the Bills are playing right now, they're not blowing out anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I know obviously the Patriots have had their ups and downs this year, a lot of downs, I would say, with McCorkle. You know, I've already heard rumors that Brady's gonna go back.
What?
It's like, yeah. So it's like it's not gonna happen. It's just end of an era, and I mean, I don't feel bad at all.
No, I mean everyone turned on him right away with Bailey Zappi immediately when he came in and started playing well. So I don't know. I feel bad in that aspect, but at the same time, I'm not really feeling much about beating down on him again. And like you said, these divisional games are going to be huge.
Yeah, because we're 0-2, so
yeah.
we need to come back here.
Yeah, I would like to be 4-2 in the division after this set of games here. So I don't know. What do you think, Dom?
I think it's an interesting matchup. Obviously, the Patriots still probably have a top 5 defense in the entire NFL, so it's going to be definitely a test to this offense that's been pretty roller coaster the last month or so. And then defensively, I mean, they've been in a pretty big downhill slide ever since that Packer game. So, yeah, it's still a test for them because New England, I don't think, has a great offense. So it's definitely kind of a little bit of a good right game, but New England still has enough players. You know, solid O-line. Stevenson's a good back. Not the hugest fan of McCorkle, but he can still swing. You know, he's not completely incompetent, and they do have some, you know, guys that can catch the ball and make some plays. So it'll be a good test. And of course, special teams will always be a big test. You know, Bill, big special teams guy. McDermott's a pretty big special teams guy, so that should be an interesting matchup as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It'll be an interesting game for sure because you gotta think about it this way. We're on that win streak now, and the Patriots, I mean, they wanna win that at least one game against us for the like move up in the division a little bit. You know what I mean? So
well, I mean, if you look at this way, the Patriots are 2 games out really of the playoffs, so and they're 2 games behind the Bills. So I think they understand the pressures that they have to face.
Yeah.
And they have a pretty hard schedule down the stretch as well. Same thing with the Bills. Same thing for really everyone in the AFC East. So it's a challenge for them. They're definitely going to come in on trying to defend their home turf, but it's nice to at least get some reinforcements back. You know, across the D line of Epinesa, Rousseau, Tremaine, my boy.
Yeah, buddy.
The savior of the middle of the field is coming back. You know, another week of Trey White and Kyer Elam. And then obviously getting your starting center back where you can move your starting guard back to his guard is also pretty nice. And we'll see if Smoke Brown, he probably get called up.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe.
He's gonna come on. He's gonna get called up. He's gonna get called up and have.
Just saying, they restructured Trey's deal.
They did.
So
OBJ's
going to be here Friday.
Same for the weekend, apparently.
Maybe.
Ooh. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Like OBJ coming now, even with John Brown, you think it's just an extra weapon we add, and we should do it if we have the cap?
I don't think signing John Brown is going to do anything to our chances of getting Odell because they're not the same.
No,
they play really 2 different styles of wide receiver, and one of them's really for that wide receiver. You can even make a case it's wide receiver 2, but wide receiver 3 role. Another one's more of a practice squad call up, wide receiver 5. Vertical threat. So, they both fill a need. So I'm not gonna say no. So
yeah,
John Brown was a 1,000-yard receiver with the Bills.
He was.
Had his best season with Josh Allen as his quarterback, and Josh trusts him. So
I think that was one of the big things about bringing him back too, the chemistry that's already there between them. You know, so But do you wanna take a look at some X factors going into the game? Like who are
I first want.
Can I just give a shout out last week? Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah,
yeah,
you got that one right.
he did. He did. Also, wait, one more shout out that we missed yesterday, Dom. It's Stephon Diggs. Happy belated birthday, buddy. Big man for the Bills. We missed that yesterday.
Can I also
That's
do
kinda
another
tough.
shout out real quick?
Sure, the shout outs keep
This
coming.
is a
Go ahead.
Sabres shout out. I said they were going 2-1-1.
That is true. He hit it on the head. Round of applause for Mike.
Wow.
What
He's
a
feeling,
day! What a
feeling
week!
lucky. He's feeling lucky. What were you saying, Dom? You wanna go into what first?
No, I first think we should probably go into the injuries first, and obviously with Dion being out, same thing with Vaughn. I think it's an interesting challenge for the Bills because you could argue that's the. I mean, I think it's factual. Those are the best players on each line.
Right.
Your left tackle and your star edge rusher. So it's going to be an interesting dilemma for the Bills. How are they going to be able to game plan around losing two such important pieces to both the offensive and defensive line?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the base injury report here, the mystical illness is striking again. All over the league somehow. Every injury report, there's illness on there. It's cold and flu season, baby. Anything could happen. But everyone, this injury report's really thinning out though. Like it's not as many. There's only one questionable and two out. Everyone else has pretty much been a full participant. Like this is looking on the up and up for us at least. So it's a. I mean, but with our luck, it's gotten long, short again. Hopefully it stays short for this run we're going with these divisional games that we have to win. So, I mean, what do you think, Mike?
I mean, this is the time of year where you don't want a long injury report.
Yeah.
So, like, I know earlier in the year we had a super long one. I
2
definitely
pages.
take it that. Yeah, definitely take it that. Like, I don't want it ever, but like better than now. So, like, it's a lot better seeing only 2 people out right now and 1 questionable, rather than all of those guys being out. Because this is the time of year where it really starts to matter.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I
mean, if it's gonna matter if what seed are you in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Do you have the bye? Do you win your division? Are you a wild card team? Like injuries play a big part in that. And while it's nice to see that they've made progress on the injury report, there's still pretty 2 big question marks there on Von and Dion. But as we said before, it's nice to after this 19-day stretch to get 10 days off before playing the Jets, which is no easy feat at all because the Jets are a solid team too down the stretch, and they play the Dolphins again. But at least they don't have to play the Jets on Sunday Night Football. CBS protected them.
Yes,
NBC wanted them. CBS said no. Yeah, you gotta think now that's got to be Nance and Romo though on the call.
Yeah,
they protected them from NBC.
Well, you mean Jim Nance, the biggest jinx in the NFL for field goal kick? That was the most that Thanksgiving game. That was rough. But yeah, I love when Jim Nance and Tony Romo call our games though. They get all excited. I love it. It's so, it's better than Chris Collinsworth any day of the week. So we'll take that. But do you want
to? That's a win in of itself.
Yeah, a win in itself. Do you want to take a look at the limited injury report we got from New England that was tweeted out?
Yeah, sure. Well, you're bringing up. It is nice to see that Josh was full practice all 3 days. It was nice to see Tremaine in 3 practices.
Yeah,
Rousseau, Epinesa, those guys that have been out, and Josh obviously with the elbow. So it's nice to see those guys all be practicing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It looks to be on the up and up. New England has a lot shorter of a list, not a full list like the Bills had with Wednesday, because we didn't get access to the walkthrough or anything like that, like we did with the Bills. But Damian Harris, we knew that's big for the running game. He was solid all year. Now Ramondre Stevenson is going to be their number one.
Well, he's been the number one all year. He's actually probably taken that as kind of the lead back. I think people expect that to be kind of a 50-50 split because of what happened last year. But Stevenson kind of took the job from Harris in the offseason and kind of just has a stranglehold on it now, especially if Harris being out.
Yeah. And then Jabril Peppers, the defensive back, he's a new addition to the squad. He's out with that mysterious illness that's affecting everyone. So he did not participate on Tuesday. So, it's that same deal. And then Isaiah Wynn, offensive lineman, foot injury, did not participate. then
yeah, that's a pretty big injury for their left tackle, but the
yeah,
Patriots always find a way to kind of rotate, their guys around. And then, I mean, that's pretty much the significant injuries. And they have a couple guys that are a little bit banged up, seems like limited, but
yeah, a lot of limited, not anything really.
we'll see if some of those guys miss. But I would assume that the top three guys, well, two of the three guys miss. We'll see about Peppers' illness, but
Yeah, the mysterious NFL illness. It's elusive. It's elusive. You never know. But either way, I feel like this is going to be tight because both teams are pretty much all there now. I would say not all there. We're missing some big pieces, and they are too. But I don't know. I feel like this will be a pretty even game. But if you had to look at it here, let's move into those X factors now. Who would you pick out of anyone on the Bills that's going to be the absolute difference maker in this game?
that's a good question.
I'm going to go ahead on this one.
I appreciate you asking that question.
Yeah, no problem. I'm going to go first on this one. I think we saw it last year, December 26, 2021. Isaiah McKenzie, we saw it last week, flashes of it. I think this is where he went off against Bill Belichick, that man coverage. I think he has another week. He might have gained a little trust. He might have gained a little trust from Josh. I think we see Isaiah McKenzie have a pretty good day. I think he's a big X factor for this game.
Well, that's a good choice right there. I'm gonna go a man named Tremaine Edmonds, my boy.
Your boy.
They're in the middle linebacker position. Mac Jones, they want to attack the middle of the field with his noodle arm, especially with those tight ends, Smith and Henry. And also that the Patriots want to run the ball, be effective on the ground game. And he's going to be a big reason to take away the middle of the field in passing and be that solid, just be solid run defense in your middle linebacker position. So if he can go, obviously he's not officially active, but he didn't have an injury destination, so I assume he'll go.
Yeah.
So my Tremaine, I think Tremaine will be a big reason why this defense has a big game.
Alrighty, Mike.
I'm gonna say Gabe Davis is gonna have himself a good game. I think it's just time. It's been a little bit since he's had that big playmaking game, and I think he's due. Because I mean, the last few games, it's like they haven't been throwing to Diggs early, and they've like then gone to him at the end. I think it's gonna be like a switch. I think they're gonna start a lot with Diggs, and then Davis is gonna have a really good second half.
I mean, that was my second choice. I want to see a big 4-banger touchdown performance like we did against KC.
5 for 375 and 5 touchdowns.
No, you don't think so, Mike?
No, not that stat line.
Oh my God,
Randy Moss stat line.
Not a Madden stat line.
Oh man, no, I mean, I feel like it could go any way with any of those. I feel like they're all going to be big pieces to winning this game. But now, what do the Bills have to do to win this game? I mean, we talked about certain players, but like overall, I think honestly, Ken Dorsey's play calling is going to have to be a little, I don't know, a little more crisp in the red zone, I would say.
They need to do what they start doing now is like their check downs and relying on like yak yards and running the ball.
Mhm.
Like we've seen they haven't been taking these deep shots or they've been doing it sporadically and they're moving down the field. Like, yeah, Allen still threw a pick in the Lions game, which was, I mean, wasn't it tipped or something too?
It was tipped. It went through.
So like, yeah like
Mhm.
he hasn't thrown these like hero ball interceptions.
No, I think that's a great point by Mike. I think they need to take some pressure off of Josh. They're playing an elite defense, but they're able to you can run the ball a little bit on this defense. I think they need to be able to run the ball effectively because you saw the last 2 times they played last year. Singletary was very solid on the ground and kept the Patriots honest. So then you could incorporate more play action motion to make it easier for Josh. But it's going to come down to the run game. It's also going to come down to, as you said about Ken Dorsey and his play calling, like you're going to have a backup left tackle in Questenberry. You're going to have a struggling right tackle on Brown. It's not like the interior offense line is that much better, but you got to understand that you're against Matt Judon, you're against a solid D line.
Right.
Like you're gonna game plan around having 2 pretty below average tackles for the game. So if they can somehow run the ball effectively to kind of take the edge off those guys to give those tackles a better opportunity to lay in the game, protect Josh, and hopefully Josh can carry you home.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, only time will tell. Honestly, I think we'll have an okay time with it. I watched a highlight reel today of the game from the 26th before we blew them out in the playoffs. Just these little like Josh was scrambling on in going into trying to go into the end zone. He just boop, shuttle pass it right to Knox, like right into the end zone. I don't know,
Dagger.
just like little creative stuff like that. I feel like it'll give us an edge. You know what I mean? The Brian Dable-esque play, you could say.
No, that wasn't a Dable play. That was just
That was on the money.
Josh.
Yeah, that was just Josh on
That was just
the
Josh
fly.
pulling an ad lib. But I think defensively, it's going to come down to you got to make the Patriots one dimensional. You got to be able to stop the run. Make Mac Jones be a thrower, and I also think it just comes down to these DBs have had pretty good coverage the last couple of weeks, but they got to eventually start making plays on the ball. So if the DBs can start making plays on the ball in the passing game, and they could limit the Patriots' efficiency on the ground game, I think again we're going to be in a good spot there. Just matters if the offense can score points against the defense at that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I would definitely agree. You got to get pressure back there, force Mac Jones to throw where he doesn't necessarily want to. I mean, and stop the run game. Right there with you, buddy, on that. That's going to be big. That I was sitting there with you on the 45 rush attempts last year, Monday night, up in the 300s. So can't have that happening again, even though it's not Harris running. But no, gotta stop that run game. And now looking at the end of the game after the Bills win, okay, who
supposedly win?
Who's the offensive MVP?
Davis. Sticking with my playmaker or X Factor.
X Factor?
Yeah.
It's
Devin
tough.
Singletary.
Motor in. Okay.
I think he's gonna have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Oh wow. What a day for Motor if that's true. You know what, Dom? I'll hop on the Motor and I'll go with you on that one. I like it. We were screaming Motor in all through that playoff game. I'd like to see it more. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think honestly, Davis could have an amazing game because you're right, Mike. He's been stagnant for a little bit here. Like he hasn't had he had those 98-yard touchdowns in the Steelers game, and since then, it feels like he's fallen off the face of the earth.
He did a few good plays, but he hasn't had like those big,
not big spectacular plays or anything like that. And he dropped quite a few, you know what I mean, for a little bit there. So I think
he's been very inconsistent. If he could find a way to become
right,
last couple of weeks he's become a little bit more consistent. So if he could just find a way to, catch the ball when it's thrown to him and then still be that solid run blocking wide receiver, I think that's solid value enough. If they can, get enough from everyone else with Davis, they'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. What about on the defense, gents?
Well, this person just won Defensive Player of the Week. I'm gonna go Big Ed Oliver gets a multi-sack game.
I like it.
I think we he got banged up in that Rams game, missed a couple games. It's taken him a couple games to get back to form per se.
Mm-hmm.
Last 2 weeks we've witnessed the ceiling of Ed Oliver, and now without Von Miller, he's just going to be counted on so much more. And listen, it's Ed Oliver versus Cole Strange. He's going to dominate that matchup. Get a couple TFLs, get a couple sacks, be a beast.
Yeah.
Maybe this time they'll interview him after the game, show him some respect.
Yeah, he should have had one of those turkey legs.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna say Jordan Poyer's gonna have himself a game. He's due. Nice. He's due for an interception, I think. And I mean, I don't know. It seems like anytime in the secondary, like he's the one doing like the cleanup work. Like he's just kind of like taking care of everyone's business. Like you see DeMar Hamlin like miss a tackle or someone, he's there to just get the guy. So he's gonna have himself a game.
Yeah, Dom, I'm hopping on the train with you. Ride him, cowboy. Put that cowboy hat on Ed Oliver. Go crazy. A multi-sack game. Dude's gonna be putting pressure on Mac Jones. Stop. He's gonna get back there every play. Come on. There's no reason not to. You got Groot back, huge, right? And Epinesa, who's been actually playing all right when he's played. So I'm going with Ed Oliver. Ride him, cowboy on this one. And that, fellas, leads us to score predictions. Dom, I'll let you start off here. What is your prediction for this game?
Buffalo 24, New England 13.
Mike?
Let's say 20-16 Bills.
Okay. All right. Closer game. I'm going to go 28-14. I think this is a 2-touchdown win for the Bills. I'm going to go touchdowns only, no field goals. I'm going.
Touchdowns only.
Yeah, touchdowns only. But without further ado, fellas, that's going to end it for our Thursday night Prime Amazon Prime preview. And without further ado, let's move into our picks. But before that, I want to bring up the Sports Bring People Together podcast. You should listen for entrepreneurial conversations with those in sports, and who knows where the chats will take you, but sports got us all together here in the first place. Find the show wherever you listen to your podcast, or simply visit sportseplus.com. Fellas, last week, good week, all above 500. Dom, 11-5. Myself, 11-5. Mike, 9-7. Season totals: Dom 115-64-1, myself 112-67-1, and Mike 97-82-1. I'm not going to say it because I say it every week, but pretty good totals. Pretty good totals on the season. So I can't not say it. You can't find another podcast out there that has this good of totals here. Come on, nothing like it. But the games for this week, we're going to pick the Browns Texans, Commanders, Giants, Titans, Eagles, Dolphins, Niners, and Chiefs at Bengals. Dom, bring us into our first game, buddy.
Oh, okay. I'll bring us into the Browns Texans. I'll start from the top.
Okay.
We've been doing that recently.
Yeah.
The Deshaun Watson Bowl,
Mhm.
his return. Yeah, I said this before. I think Deshaun, when everything's clicking right, he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Well, I mean, the last time he was playing, he was. That's obviously been nearly 2 years ago. So
yeah, 2.
I don't really know what fully to expect, but the Texans just seem to be in quit mode. I mean, they got jumped early by the Dolphins, and then they kind of rallied a little bit, but that was because the Dolphins, pulled most of their starters, and we have our boy Jerry Hughes kicking over Gatorades. It just doesn't look like a good sight. Lovie Smith's a joke. I don't know how he's a head coach in 2022, and the Browns coming off a big win against Tom Brady at home in overtime, and I think they have some life left in the playoff hunt. I wouldn't be that positive on their end, but I think they do, and they're being touchdown favorites. I think they're going to cover. I think Deshaun, I don't know if it's his best game, but I think he goes 250 and 3 touchdowns, especially because it's a revenge game for him. If you have Amari Cooper in fantasy football, this is what you waited for all year.
You're right. Mike, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, so obviously it's a revenge game. Gonna have a lot of attention. I think Houston has a reason to win. They can lose all the other games. They have a reason to win this game. Kyle Allen, he's gonna win this game. Deshaun hasn't played in 2 years. He's gonna be rusty. Like he's not just gonna step right in and be like this top 5 quarterback again. He's gonna struggle. I think Houston's gonna be motivated. They're gonna have a fire. They're gonna win.
Oh man.
Oh,
I mean, the Browns are 1-0 revenge games technically with them beating Baker week 1. So
got a point.
I don't know. I think they're.
I think this is the only game Houston's gonna want to try and win.
That's true. The Texans should be motivated for this one. If they can't get up for this game against the dude that disgraced your franchise,
go 2-14-1.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm personally, I'm gonna take the Browns. I think they've played competent football. The Texans, Kyle Allen, I don't think he can do it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like the hungry dog runs faster mentality, the underdog mentality, but I gotta go with Deshaun and the Browns on this one, unfortunately.
The one thing that would scare me is what Mike mentioned of the Texans. This is kind of their Super Bowl. That's always kind of dangerous.
Exactly.
You got a team that just got embarrassed last week by the Dolphins. The Browns coming off a little bit of a high, and the Browns, we talked about all week when they played the Bills, have one of, if not, I probably actually know they had the worst run defense in the entire NFL, and obviously the Texans want to establish their own with Damon Pierce. So
yeah,
I'm not changing my pick, but there's definitely more than a couple of pretty solid reasons to pick the Texans in an episode here.
Yeah. All right, next game. The Washington Commanders, Heinekens, at the New York Giants. Commanders are 2.5-point favorites. I feel like this is kind of tough. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I think this is just a bleh game.
Yeah.
Like, these two teams both suck.
Well,
But
just divisional game. That's why I picked it.
Yeah.
No. It's a good game to
not
pick. It's a
yeah.
good game to pick. It's just
But
like
it's
both
kind of a
these
shootout,
teams.
I feel like.
I think the Giants are going to win. They've been on a little bit of a slide
Did
recently.
you just say this game's a shootout?
Yeah, between who's gonna win?
Me.
No. Between who's gonna win?
I don't think it's gonna be a high scoring game. Do you? I mean,
Not shootout like high scoring. I'm saying like it's I can't tell you who's gonna win right now. You know, I can. I'm gonna say someone.
I'm gonna
but-
pick the Giants. I think they're gonna bounce back. They've been on a little bit of a slide.
I'm gonna take the Giants as well.
Cause I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I just have a feeling that like they're gonna change up their schemes a little bit. Danny Dimes is gonna dime a little bit, and I don't know.
Brian Dable's gonna sprint
Saquon,
out
I
onto
think, is
that
gonna have
field.
over 100 yards. I just have a feeling they're gonna win.
yeah, I think this is a tough game to pick. But I've been fading the Giants the past couple weeks. It's now time for me to switch over and fade another fraudulent team. I'm fading the Commanders this week. I got the Giants win.
All three of us underdogs.
The Giants are a team underdogs at home. Dable's going to get them fired up. They got the long rest. Washington did not look very impressive against Atlanta. I mean, they needed a Marcus Mariota interception on the goal line to really win that game.
Yeah.
So I just think the Giants, with the rest advantage, Saquon's the best player on either team. And I think, listen, Taylor Heineke is not a good quarterback. Eventually that has to bite the Commanders.
Yeah.
And I got the Giants in a like a 13-10 kind of game.
No, I would say that's pretty accurate prediction right there, buddy. 13-10. Mike, you want to take us into our next game?
Yeah, that's what do we got here? Oh, the Titans and Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
So Titans have really picked it up. They were 0-2. Everyone was kind of like counting them out in a way, because all I hear is, oh, these 0-2 teams, they don't make the playoffs and blah blah blah. Yeah, they're by far the best team in their division, and I think they're guaranteed to probably win their division. And Eagles, they're rolling right now. I mean, honestly, when they lost, I thought maybe they would slide a little bit, but I can't say they played perfect against the Colts, but they played. They played another game, right?
They played the Packers last week.
Yeah, I'm thinking like that. Yeah, they played pretty good against the Packers. Jalen Hurts had like 150 rushing yards.
He's got some cool cleats on too for that game.
Yeah, like they just looked really good. I think the Eagles are going to win this one. Make another statement that they're the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, but I think the Texans come into Philadelphia and prove that the NFC sucks.
You mean the Titans?
I said the Texans.
Yeah.
Wrong team. The begins of T. Ends of T. Begins of T. No, I think the Titans are a tough matchup for the Eagles because the Titans have a very elite defense, and I think that's going to be able to slow down that Eagles.
AJ Brown revenge game.
Yeah,
I think they're going to lock him up. He's going to have to throw up
He
again.
had a bad fumble.
Yeah, well, because he was puking his guts out.
He couldn't
see anything. But no, I think the Titans are a tough matchup, especially because the Eagles currently don't have Jordan Davis. I know they activated him off IR, but they don't know if he's going to play. They had to bring in Sue. They had to bring in Levi Joseph to try and shore up that run defense. But the Packers, who I don't think are a great offense, were able to move the ball pretty much at will.
Yeah.
And I think the Titans, coming off a tough loss in the AFC and Cincinnati, want to, they still believe that they might have an outside chance at that 1 seed, and I think they're gonna prove, if running the ball, Derrick Henry, smash mouth football, good defense, they're gonna win kind of a gritty 20-17 kind of game.
Yeah, as much as I love Jason Kelce singing White Christmas, I have to pick against the Eagles here. I'm going with the Titans. I think Derrick Henry's going to have a major day. I think he's going to be running, like Dom said, smash mouth football, go crazy, right up the middle, and he's going to have a day. I don't see the Eagles beating them, unfortunately. But that leads us into our next game, the Dolphins at the San Francisco 49ers. Big game. This is a big one. This is one I've been looking forward to. I'm going to be honest with you. 49ers are 4-point favorites, and I'm going to take the 49ers. I mean, they have a great defense. I know Jimmy Garoppolo is Jimmy Garoppolo, right? But I mean, he's a winning, the record speaks for itself. He's winning on that team. I mean, you got CMC on that team. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going with the 49ers. I think their defense is going to shut down the Dolphins.
I mean, I feel like this is gonna be a close game. Like Jimmy G, he's been doing good, but I feel like he's due to have a game where he just is Jimmy G, because like he's probably the biggest game manager in the NFL,
Yeah.
and he's just so lucky that he has such a good team around him. Like it's sad that like you see that he has this huge winning record and he's gone to 2 NFC Championship games, gone to a Super Bowl, and yet they still want to replace him
Yeah.
just because he's just such an average quarterback. And I think this, I'll use the phrase before, I think this could be a shootout, but I think the Dolphins are going to win. I think they're just more dialed right now than Jimmy G. I think I would trust Tua right now over Jimmy G in like a game like this.
Yeah, I think the protege is going to take down the master here of McDaniels over Shanahan. I think the Dolphins right now are playing high-level football. I think the Niners didn't play well last week. I know they beat the Saints 13-0, but the Saints are trash. And for them to only score 13 points, and they scored their only touchdown off a deflection by Tyrann Mathieu. So I'm not very high on the Niners right now. I know they have the best defense, I think, statistically in the NFL, but I don't think this is the same team that got absolutely dominated by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And they scored on well. I think the Dolphins, they're not going to be able to stop Tyreek. And Dolphins are just going to get Tyreek involved. Waddle, I think they're going to be able to move the ball, even against an elite defense. And I think they're going to make a statement to the rest of the NFL that, I mean, the last month they've had a relatively easy schedule. And obviously they're going to be tested a couple weeks before playing the Bills, and it starts now. And I think they win this one pretty handily. I think it's going to be like a 38-21 kind of game.
All right. Last game. You want to bring us in, Kiko?
Yeah, sure. So we got the rematch of the AFC Championship game, or the quote unquote, I mean the real AFC Championship game. We all know what happened. It happened really around earlier. Even though that team that won didn't even make the Super Bowl. But
yeah, unfortunately.
Chiefs Bengals. Chiefs are 1.5 favorites. We don't know if Joe Mixon's going to play. We don't know if Jamar Chase is going to play. Bengals, though, didn't matter without those two guys. Got the dub against the Titans in a big-time game. They're playing pretty decent football on both sides of the ball. That being said, this is blowout city for the Kansas City. They're going to win by 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
I think Kansas City this is their, like, you know, we talk about it the last 2 years with the Bills being really amped up to play the Chiefs. You know, we saw it this year already. They were amped up to play the Buccaneers the first time after they lost that Super Bowl in 2020. And I think they're amped up to redeem their choke job from last year.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, we're hearing all the is this Brady Manning? No, it's not. But Mahomes is 0-2 against Burrow all time, and I think he wants to get in the win column. And, you know, he just had a child, so dad energy. So
Dad energy.
Dad energy. He's got the white New Balances out on the field.
Yeah, so this is going to be like a 45-24 kind of game.
Wow.
Mahomes going to score throw 5 or 6 touchdowns.
Dang.
I think they roll.
No, I'm gonna pick the Chiefs also, but I think it's gonna be a closer game. I'm thinking like a 35-31 type of game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs as well. I think it's going to be closer than the blowout Dom suggesting. But as much as I would love the Bengals to win, because then we play the Bengals, and if we win, that's a big tie. You know what I mean? Like that'd be a big thing for the Bills Chiefs home game in the playoffs. But I don't see them losing here. Personally, I think the Chiefs are rolling right now. They're hot. Travis Kelce's doing great as always. Dude's a monster. Pat Mahomes, like Dom said, dad energy. He's got the white New Balances and the jorts on the field. He's ready to go.
Energy.
He's ready to cook, and there's no other way about it at this point. So,
well, I think it's definitely an interesting slate of games we picked for the Bills. I think from their perspective, they probably want the Browns to beat the Texans because of the strength of record. They don't give a crap about the Giants. I mean, they're probably going to root for the Giants because of Dable.
Right.
They want the Titans to win for the same reason. They want the Niners to win, so it knocks off Miami.
Yeah.
And I'd say they want the Bengals to win because they play the Bengals later on, and that would knock the Chiefs down to them being the 1 seed. They win.
Yeah.
If those results happen and the Bills win, they would be the 1 seed in the AFC.
Yeah. It's the way to go, man. Let's
It's
honestly,
crazy.
let's hope for it, man. Cross the fingers, cross the toes. You know, at that point. But without further ado, that's going to do it for this episode of Betting on the Bills. I'm Joe Kelly, and I was joined by Dom Loss and Mike Marino, as always. And Dom, how do you always end these, buddy?
Go Bills, baby.
Go Bills.